all your money news with Tshifhiwa Madzena. Good evening, Tshifhiwa. Now, the tourism sector, as we know, has been really hard hit by the lockdown, huge blows, and also battling to get their business interruption insurance payout. But now, some hope for them.
That's right, Sally. So businesses in the tourism and hospitality sector that have been devastated by COVID-19 have launched an online petition calling on the insurance providers to pay out on their business interruption claims. These claims are one of the few ways that these companies can remain afloat, especially at a time when government regulation during this period is crippling them. And joining me now for more is Tourism Business Council of South Africa CEO Tshivhengwa. Tshifhiwa, many thanks for your time this evening. Before we get into the alleged flip-flopping of the government, let's talk about the insurance sector. Obviously, the engagements with businesses and the insurance sector haven't been adequate if things like petitions are being initiated.
No, absolutely. Thank you for having me. I think that the insurance companies have been disingenuous. We have been talking to them and we have been trying to persuade them to pay this insurance claim for business interruption, as we've been paying their premiums over many, many years. I'm glad to see that the FCA has come on board and is supporting our stance that they should honor these claims because they are valid claims. And as insurers, we trusted them with the premiums and the money that we pay to them to ensure that, they can cover us during this difficult time. So it is something that, the continued refusal to pay this claim, it's not only painful for the industry. You've got to think of the employees that work, for these companies and their families as well.
Apart from things like petitions, is there any other actions as a body that you could take against the insurance sector to force their hand, per se?
No, I mean, look, we're going to end up in court on this matter. There is a class action lawsuit that's been put together, and we will end up in court. There's no other ways around this. I think that we've got enough, backing and evidence, and, it is time for us, to really, take these guys to court. But it's not what we want to do, because business interruption insurance is made, we take these insurances in order to get relief in times like this. When you go to court, it takes a long time, and, sometimes by the time the lawsuit is finalized, many of these businesses would have gone under. So it's not ideal. So that's why we've been saying to these insurances that they need to come to table. We need to talk about this matter. We need to agree on a way forward. And if it's a matter of not having enough money, then they must say so that we can have a plan, going forward. We need this business sustainable. Majority of them are SMMEs. They employ lots of people, and we need these people back to work.
Interesting that you'd say there might be an issue of them having not enough money. But on to matters government now. Two big blows that have come again to the industry. This alleged flip-flopping, leisure travel with domestic accommodation allowed, and now it's not allowed under the level 3 lockdown. Your thoughts on what's come out from government in their latest regulatory framework?
I mean, look, the whole debacle that happened over the weekend where the presidency tweets that leisure accommodation is allowed, and many of our members, went out and, buy things in order to prepare. Some of them have ordered online in order to prepare for leisure, accommodation to open, and which was already open in the previous, regulations. And now to close it and say no one is allowed to stay in an accommodation of their choice, where we have put together protocols and people can social distance and so forth and so on, it's not only upsetting, but it's frustrating for our industry. And hence, we are considering our options in terms of what we need to do pertaining to these regulations that have been gazetted last Sunday. Now, if you look at the regulations, there's a lot of things that, one sort of have too many question marks. There are certain sectors that are allowed to operate without any social distancing. There are many people that are doing various things. You go to the mall, you can go to any supermarket and so forth and so on, but you're not allowed to stay in a hotel for your own personal reasons. I think that's unfortunate, and it's sort of inconsistent, and I wonder if it's rational enough to say someone cannot stay in a hotel just because they're not staying for business or essential services. We've got many businesses, resorts, and game lodges where people can go there and they can be able to social distance and they can be able to stay far away from crowds. What's so wrong about that? I don't understand why there's this thing of saying if you go for leisure, it's more dangerous than when you go for business. What is the rationale behind that?
Yeah, very briefly, Tshifhiwa, you speak about some of the options that you're looking at in your statement. Do these include also taking government to court?
There is always a possibility of doing that. We've always been engaging with government in a cordial way to show them that, we are a safe industry. We have developed protocols before many sectors develop protocols without anyone prompting us to develop protocols. We develop protocols, we put them in place. They are in use for business travel. They are also being used for essential travelers. We have been using our properties as quarantine sites and many other things. So I don't understand what's going to be different now if someone goes and check in for personal reason, and what is the rationale that disallows someone to stay for personal reasons. So we have engaged, and I believe that we presented our case across government. But this leaves us with no other option but to look at our options, and that may include legal. But we need to look at it closely, and then we need to get legal minds to really look at the rationality, to say, what is it that, spread more virus when someone is staying at a hotel in their own room? It could be alone or with one other person who they know. What is so dangerous about that? But you are allowed to go to church. You're allowed to go to get into a taxi with many people that you don't know. Many people who travel for leisure purposes are traveling with their families. So they're already staying with these families at home. So what is different if you're staying in another property where you are staying in a lodge? Shouldn't that be more safer? Or, at least more safer than many other sectors? And that we need to question.
Very interesting insights there, insights that could be taking the tourism industry to court to fight for its ability to participate in the economy. Tshivhengwa, CEO of TBCSA, thank you very much for your time this evening.